Coronation Street has unleashed one of its most dramatic and unexpected moments in recent memory, and the fallout could change the lives of Todd Grimshaw and Theo Silverton forever. What began as a tense custody battle spiraled into heartbreak, confrontation, and ultimately a shocking death that no one saw coming. The episode delivered everything fans of the soap thrive on: conflict, raw emotion, and a twist that leaves everyone asking what happens next. The night opened with Theo pacing nervously, preparing himself for one of the most important hearings of his life. His future and his children's rested on how he handled himself in court. Dee Bailey, ever the voice of reason, urged him to remain calm, reminding him that composure could make all the difference. But that calm was tested the moment Noah Hedley entered the picture. Noah, already notorious for his toxic influence and manipulative behavior, made sure to dig in with cruel, homophobic comments. Todd, who has always worn his heart on his sleeve, couldn't just sit back and take it. He snapped, firing back at Noah in a heated outburst. But that outburst came at a cost. The judge, determined to maintain order, swiftly asked Todd to leave the courtroom. The look on Todd's face said it all: guilt, fear, and the sinking realization that he might have jeopardized Theo's entire case. For a brief moment, it seemed like everything they had worked for was about to collapse. Then came the twist that lifted the tension, if only temporarily. Theo returned home with news that was nothing short of life-changing. The judge had granted him access to his children. It was a moment of victory, and Todd's immediate embrace was full of relief, joy, and love. After everything the two of them had endured, they finally had a reason to celebrate. That celebration carried them to the bistro, where they were joined by Summer Spellman and Dee. Glasses were raised, smiles returned, and for the first time in a long time, the couple allowed themselves to breathe. But the peace didn't last long. Noah stormed into the bistro, as toxic and bitter as ever, carrying news that Danielle, Theo's estranged wife, was planning to appeal the judge's decision. His bitterness wasn't subtle. He peppered his announcement with more of the same homophobic digs that had defined his recent behavior. Todd wasn't having it. Rising to his feet, he warned Noah to watch his mouth, his frustration boiling over. But it was Theo's calmness that struck a chord. He didn't yell, he didn't fight, he simply dismissed Noah completely, telling him he was nothing to him anymore. It was a moment of quiet strength, showing that Theo had finally closed the door on someone who had poisoned so much of his life. For Todd, it was reassurance that their bond was stronger than the venom Noah tried to spread. Yet just when it seemed like the evening had found a rhythm, disaster struck. Danielle stormed into the bistro, her face flushed with panic, her voice breaking as she confronted Theo. "What did you do to him?" she demanded, her grief spilling out in a wave of accusations. The revelation hit like a thunderclap. Noah had suffered a heart attack. The disbelief was immediate. Moments earlier, he had seemed fine, full of his usual spite. Now, in a cruel twist of fate, he was gone. Danielle's anguish filled the room as she struggled to understand how someone so alive just hours earlier could be ripped away so suddenly. Theo and Todd were stunned into silence, the shock settling like a heavy fog over their celebration. Theo tried to console Danielle, but the unspoken truth was clear: Noah's death had cast a long, dark shadow over what was supposed to be a night of triumph. Later, in the quiet of their home, Theo's emotions finally surfaced. He admitted that Noah hadn't always been the person everyone now despised. In fact, once upon a time, Noah had been his closest friend, maybe even the best friend he had ever known. There was a time when Noah was supportive, kind, and someone Theo trusted with his whole heart. Watching him transform into someone bitter and hateful had been one of the hardest things Theo had ever endured. And now, with Noah gone, Theo found himself mourning not just the man he had become, but the friend he had lost years before. As Theo spoke, the weight of the past bore down on him. His hand reached instinctively for the elastic band around his wrist, a symbol of his struggles, a quiet ritual he leaned on when the world felt overwhelming. But Todd, ever present, gently stopped him. In that pause, something shifted. Theo took the band, cut it free, and let it fall away. It was more than just a gesture, it was a promise. Looking at Todd, he vowed never to leave him, choosing love, healing, and hope over the shadows of his past. The episode closed on that poignant note, but the ripple effects of Noah's sudden death are just beginning. With Danielle's fury burning bright, Theo's inner conflict over the memory of his old friend, and the cloud of suspicion that lingers, this storyline has only just scratched the surface. Coronation Street has a way of taking one explosive twist and spinning it into weeks, even months, of drama, and this is no exception. Fans are left wondering how Danielle's grief will evolve, how Theo and Todd's relationship will withstand the pressure, and whether Noah's death will ignite even deeper divisions. One thing is certain, this isn't just a shocking exit, it's the kind of turning point that will reshape everything for the characters involved. And in true Coronation Street fashion, the consequences are likely to be just as explosive as the twist that started it all.